Any law enforcement officer cannot search your home unless they have a warrant. However, there is exceptions to that. The exception to that is if you give them consent, if they're in hot pursuit, or if they see fruits of a crime. In those instances, an officer can enter your home. Absent those instances, an officer has to have a valid search warrant in order to enter your home. Hot pursuit is technically if the officer is chasing somebody and they happen to go into a house, hide in a room, and the officer is behind that person and enters the house. Fruits of a crime occurs when an officer comes through your door, knocks on the door, and you open the door, and the officer is able to see that you have multiple bundles of cocaine in your coffee table. The officer can enter the residence at that point, conduct a search, and arrest. An officer is not allowed to search your vehicle unless there is probable cause. What is probable cause? Well, an officer has to articulate facts to show that a crime has been committed, that he suspects a crime has been committed, or is being committed in order to have that probable cause and search your vehicle. For example, if an officer pulls you over and suspects or sees a gun on the floorboard of your vehicle, at that point, the officer can search your vehicle because they have seen a firearm inside your vehicle. However, if an officer pulls you over for a traffic citation just because you ran a red light and does not see anything through the windows of the vehicle and pulls you over strictly just to issue a citation, then the officer does not have probable cause to search your vehicle. If an officer does search your vehicle without probable cause and they do find fruits of a crime, for example, a firearm, unregistered firearm, or narcotics, then having an attorney by your side is of the utmost importance because we would be able to eliminate that evidence based on the fact that it was found in an illegal manner because the officer did not have probable cause to search. Therefore, anything found as a result of that lack of probable cause can be eliminated as evidence in a case in court. An officer cannot compel you to answer any questions. Oftentimes what will happen is an officer will approach you and start just a casual conversation. Here's what you got to be mindful. This casual conversation or whatever you say and do or state in this casual conversation can and will be used against you by the officers. Oftentimes people think, well, they can't use it against me because they didn't read me my rights. That is incorrect, unfortunately. Casual conversations with officers that lead to incriminating statements will be used. And in fact, an officer does not have to give you your Miranda rights unless and until you've been arrested and they decide to interrogate you. After being arrested, if an officer wants to interrogate you, they will have to read you your Miranda rights. And at that point, if you invoke your rights, all questioning must stop immediately. However, if you do not invoke your Miranda rights and you do decide to speak with them, again, anything you say will and can be used against you. In order for an officer to arrest you, he has to have probable cause. Again, probable cause means that the officer has a reasonable suspicion to believe that a crime is being committed or that a crime has been committed. Absent probable cause, it would be an illegal arrest. Any law enforcement officer cannot search your phone, cell phone, or any other electronic device without a search warrant, unless they have probable cause to believe that a crime has been committed or is being committed. By way of an example, if an officer happens to stand by next to you and the person is looking at photos of minors that they shouldn't have in their possession, in that sense, the officer may do a precursory search of the electronic device to determine in furtherance of their investigation. Absent that, absent probable cause, or absent a search warrant, no law enforcement agency can search your cell phone or any other electronic device. If you've been arrested and you think the law enforcement agency searched your home, electronic device, auto, or any place without probable cause, and you feel that it was an illegal search, contact Confianza Legal. We will evaluate your case.